Welcome in. This is the Old Fashioned Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, James Moran, and my co-host, Gary Vitrone, here with me.
What's up, baby?
We're also mock drafting today.
Yeah.
We're mock drafting today, and we're mock drafting with our producer.
He has decided to grace us with his presence. We're looking forward to this mock draft. Should
Absolutely.
be a good time.
For sure. Our producer, Brant Medicine Man Parker.
Woo!
But it should be awesome. Getting closer to that draft season.
It's in the air, man. I can smell it.
Can't wait. We're here in July.
Early July. Happy 4th.
Yep, happy 4th. Happy 4th to everyone listening. Hope you had a fun time. Cannot wait for this.
Man.
We're almost there.
I know.
We're almost
close.
in real draft time.
Yeah,
I had my auction draft, and now I'm just waiting so impatiently, but still waiting.
Yeah.
For our actual draft season. But you got a mock draft. We've mentioned it before. We mentioned in our draft tips episode. Mock draft.
Got to do it. See what works, see what doesn't work. They're equally important. Get out there and mock.
Yep.
Which is why we're doing this episode today.
For sure. And this is a 12-team, half PPR snake.
Yep.
We have randomized our positions.
Oh, yeah.
Producer, with his black magic, somehow got the second pick.
I know. I'm jealous.
I'm sitting over here at number 6, and you're sitting over there at number 9, Gary. All right.
Let's see how it goes.
Let's see how this goes. All right, let's go ahead and start the draft.
All right, let's kick it off, baby. We are starting.
All right, Dalvin Cook goes first. That's an interesting one. I've never seen Sleeper pull that, but that's all right.
I've not seen that.
Hey,
weird things happen in actual drafts.
Absolutely, very true.
Congrats,
Weird things have happened. Yeah, enjoy this pick. Alvin Kamara.
Kamara, okay.
All right.
CMC went 3rd.
I don't know what to say to that, really.
I would have gone CMC for sure. We talked about this on our last episode. There was not a scenario where I'm not going CMC
for
first.
Sure. But the first 3 are the first 3 guys we wanted off the board. Like, those are the first 3 that we respect
Consensus
the most.
Top 3.
Absolutely. Yep.
Jonathan Taylor 4, Derrick Henry 5, and now you've got pick 6.
I've got pick 6. So I'm staring down Saquon, Chubb, Tyreek Hill, Zeke, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
So we've talked about wide receivers. The really only 2 that we care about in round 1, Tyreek, Devontae are still there, obviously.
Yep.
But at this spot, and of course, Travis Kelce's also there if we're talking tight end. But at this spot, I'm still looking running back for sure.
Yep.
Saquon, Chubb, Zeke, Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler. Now, I love me some Eckler. Oh, you're drafting. You're drafting behind me.
Yep.
You know what? I'm not playing this game. I'm still going to go with the consistency. I'm still going.
His ADP is 13, so there's probably.
No.
It's snaking back. There's not a shot you get him.
There's not a shot I get him on the way back. As you know, I love him. But I am going to go with a consistent guy. The only other rusher that you can mention in the same breath as Derrick Henry.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go with some Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb. Grab it.
I actually really like that. Saquon had the outstanding rookie year and then the injury issues the last couple of years.
For sure. And I do like Jason Garrett as his offensive coordinator. I've mentioned that before on this podcast.
Yeah.
I do think that will not hurt him. I think, if anything, that will gain him some value. But you also have Kenny Golladay there now. You have some other weapons that are going to be used as well as Saquon. I'm picking Chubb. I'm picking Chubb in that situation.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
For sure.
I like that.
All right. Barkley, Zeke, and now Gary, we're on to you.
And I only have 59 minutes, 28 seconds to think about this, so I'm going to use every second.
Don't you dare.
All right. So this is interesting. Tyreek, Aaron Jones, Devontae, Travis Kelce.
Yep, absolutely.
Man, this is interesting. I kind of want to go wide receiver here.
You're at that 9th pick. You're right there where it's really, do you have a strong opinion on guys like Aaron Jones or Austin Eckler, or are you going to go for that top-end talent at a different position than running back? I don't hate it. Where you're at, going Tyreek or going Devontae there. It's still a touch early for Kelce. I do think
early for Kelce for me.
I got to think that one of those 2 guys, if not both, are off the board first. What's up?
You know what I actually think I'm going to do?
Let me hear it.
There's so much depth at wide receiver.
There
I want
is.
to secure that top running back.
Okay.
You know what I'm going to do?
I'm amazed at what's going to happen. Oh, you jerk.
I think I'm going with Austin Eckler.
Oh, you jerk. Well, it's fine. You stole my heart. You went ahead and you stole my heart. Wait 1 second. He has to actually do it on his
on my phone.
Switch to his phone.
Would be helpful.
Yep, from the screen that we're working off of, which is my screen.
Yep.
So he's going for Eckler there. Next one, Aaron Jones, Tyreek, Devontae.
For me, those guaranteed touches, all the receptions that Eckler's going to get.
Absolutely. Yep. Second-year quarterback. I love Justin Herbert.
And we're higher than consensus on Eckler, too.
For sure.
Man, I feel pretty comfortable with that. Aaron Jones is very volatile. I still like him a lot. I was kind of a coin flip. So like you said, Aaron Jones is next, Tyreek Hill, and Devontae to round out the first round.
Yep.
Turnaround, snaking back, D-Hop, Cam Akers, Travis. Oh, damn!
You were one step away. You were one spot away from getting Kelce.
Oh my!
You would have been over the moon. I don't know if
that would have been awesome.
I don't know if I would have been able to finish this draft with you because you would only mention that. You would only mention that.
That's it. That's all.
That would be it. You'd go, hey, I got Austin Eckler and I got Kansas City Chiefs.
That would have been insane. So actually, my wide receiver 3 is still available.
Yep.
I do love me some Antonio Gibson. I feel really good about Eckler. Diggs is just a difference maker to me here. That's my guy.
Yep, and that's what you were allowed to do because you went Eckler early.
Exactly.
You know, it would not have been that case if you went Tyreek or Devontae early. You were going to go a significant teardrop.
A huge teardrop. I was going to cry about that teardrop. The next running backs were Joe Mixon and Antonio Gibson.
That's who I was hoping.
Completely different tier for me than Austin Eckler.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
I'm thrilled about that. That
definitely
worked out well.
Absolutely. You got your guy there in Diggs.
Got my guy.
I think that worked out exactly as you hoped.
Perfect.
Unfortunately, my pick didn't end up exactly as I hoped. Gibson went right after Diggs. So we're going to see now. We have A.J. Brown. Yes. Gotta take the mouse away from Gary here. Let's see. Najee Harris, DeAndre Swift, CEH, J.K. Dobbins, David Montgomery. We've gone down this list before.
Yep.
Najee, as you know, sticks out to me in that list. Wide receivers, DK Metcalf, I like, but it just drives me nuts the difference between him and Lockett. When I can get Lockett possibly at a later pick, it's hard for me to go DK early.
No way.
And I do have him a tier below these other 4 guys we've got up here. For me. AJ Brown is right there. Calvin Ridley would probably actually be my next guy off the board for wide receiver.
Yeah.
Tight end, Kelsey's gone. We've talked about this before. I really have a tough time seeing Kittle really performing at that top level because you now have a much better wide receiver core there.
Debo's back.
Let's
do it.
Yep. I like Darren Waller, but it's a little early for me to grab him. So I am going to go ahead and take Calvin Ridley here with this pick.
Nice. I like that a lot.
Nick Chubb, Calvin Ridley.
Our teams look pretty similar so far.
Well, we both have the one RB and then the one locked in wide receiver. Yep. And that's all based on the tier difference because Antonio Gibson, if he had been there, I would have gone RB in a heartbeat.
I absolutely back half of round 2 for Gibson. Yeah, I'd take that for sure.
Okay, so our producer's officially pulling a what will irritate James the most draft.
Crazy shit happens in drafts all the time.
Very true.
Sometimes this happens.
That's actually about where Mahomes, I think, does go. He goes around that second, third turn.
Yeah, I don't.
But I don't want him.
I just don't. I'm not paying for him there.
No. I'm not going quarterback.
Do we say too? So Metcalf, Kittle, AJ Brown, Mahomes from our producer, CEH. Turning around real quick for his 3rd running back on team 1 is Najee.
If he had gone McCaffrey there, I would hate the Najee grab because, well, actually, I'd love the Najee grab there because of any risk of CMC being a little slow start injury-wise.
Yeah.
It's I'm going to be interested to see what the wide receiver depth turns up for in that team.
That will be
that's a make or break what you do in the 4th and 5th round on that team.
Yeah, totally.
Cooper Kupp there is a reach. Justin Jefferson's still available. Our producer is going off the deep end here.
He's going rogue, man.
He's throwing the randoms at us, which again, like you've mentioned,
sometimes it happens.
Sometimes it happens for sure. CMC, AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson. Team 3 is looking pretty dang stacked right now.
That's gonna be a problem. That's a scary team so far. It's a good draft.
Perfectly happy with Kittle dropping the Jonathan Taylor owner. Not worried about that team.
Yep.
Waller to D. Henry's team. Waller there, I was kind of hoping I would get there with a turnaround, but it would have left me in a very tough situation too, because it would have really left me RB deprived.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we're here in the middle of the third. We're here about to enter the RB dead zone. So I'm looking at the guys, and we're almost there for me. We're almost there at the RB dead zone. DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery, Chris Carson, Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, and Kareem Hunt.
Yep.
Those are the big names there. Yeah, I'm looking down this list, and that's really the only ones I care about. Wide receivers: Michael Thomas, Keenan Allen, Scary Terry. Which I love. I love some of these guys right here. I really love
that's exactly
Keenan and Scary Terry and Allen Robinson. All three of those guys are really difference makers at that position.
Yep.
Now that Waller's off that board, I don't care about that.
No, I don't care about that.
This is where I'm dealing with a tough situation.
This is a really tough one.
I am really in an interesting spot here because I can basically reach for one of those end of my really fine with happy tier 2 RBs, or I can really lock down one of those wide receivers that I think will be a difference maker.
Yep.
Like Keenan Allen is another level compared to those other guys. I love Scary Terry, but Keenan, I put Keenan at a whole different level for them.
And I'm a little higher on Michael Thomas than you. I'm not worried about him at all this year. That's interesting. Yeah. They will not make it back to you.
Very true.
I will make sure of it.
I believe you. I believe you.
I'm curious to see what you go with. What are you feeling?
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm looking at the depth, and that's the key here. Right. I'm looking at a lot of guys that I'd actually be pretty happy with.
Sure.
Because I've got Robert Woods here, who I'd be happy as heck to be my
not a sexy
wide
name,
receiver
but
too.
That's why we love him.
Amari Cooper, I can deal with the chaos because I've got Calvin Ridley, who's locked in.
You're locked and loaded, yeah.
I've got a few guys here that I'd like if they got back around to me. And while there's 12 picks, but Team 12's already got 2 wide receivers. I doubt they're going wide receiver with their pick there. 2 other teams have a top wide receiver. I know you were probably going to grab one of these guys. Well, you're going to be in the same situation where you have to look at the RBs.
Exactly.
There is a big difference in the tier. I'm grabbing David Montgomery here. I really am. I'm going to grab the RB4 from last year. I'm going to grab a guy who balled out the end of his second. And I'm going to grab what's really one of those last guys that I feel comfortable with. It would have been him or Chris Carson to me. Those are the 2 there that I would have felt comfortable with as my RB2 at the end of that.
Yeah.
And that's the price I'd pay for going Calvin Ridley. And honestly, I'm okay with that price.
I was going to say,
I'm okay with that price.
If I'm you, I'm thrilled with that.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Keenan Allen, Scary Terry with the next 2 picks to guys who had 2 RBs. And that's the difference there.
Right.
That's what I'm going to look at the end of this draft. Where would I rather be? Would I rather be the guy who has Zeke and Antonio Gibson and Scary Terry?
Yep.
Or would I rather be the Nick Chubb, Calvin Ridley, David Montgomery? I'd really rather be my team. I'd rather have my guys.
I'm happy with that too. Yeah, that looks pretty solid. And now I've kind of got the same debate. Honestly, I would have grabbed the Montgomery here and been pretty happy.
Yep.
I actually feel pretty good about going with Swift.
I don't hate that. DeAndre Swift being there for sure.
At wide receiver, some guys that I really like. I mean, you can see this is kind of it. All the running backs. There's a huge tier drop off here. I believe
yeah, Chris Carson just went, and that's the end of that tier for me.
That's it.
Like, if you want to make the argument for Josh Jacobs, okay. Miles Sanders, sure. I disagree, but go for it. But that's what we expected. Team 10 is exactly what we were scared of.
Right.
He went Aaron Jones, Travis Kelce, Michael Thomas, Allen Robinson. I love a lot of those guys, but there's no way I'm going to like his RB2. He's going to have to work really hard. He's going to have a lot of RB depth to make up for the fact that he does not have a locked-in RB2. And we've talked about this. It's not easy to come across an RB2 late. That's not.
No, it's really not.
You really don't have those guys that take that step up. It's a lot harder than you think to guess who's going to be that next guy who comes out as a value. No one thought James Robinson would be James Robinson last year.
Yeah.
So, a lot more people thought Marlon Mack would be valuable,
Yeah, then week 1 happened, and injuries suck. I hate that. It's the worst part of the game.
For sure.
And speaking of hate, I hate Mike Evans. I talked about him. He was on my hate list. He's going to be probably a top 12 guy.
At the end of the year.
At the end of the year. I don't really care about that. There's going to be so many games where he has disappearing acts. There's so many weapons there. Plus, there's a guy that I kind of like as a value pick on Tampa that I might try to grab here too.
Antonio Brown.
Right? Clear that throat.
Sorry, yeah.
This is actually a really easy pick for me. Let me get some Julio.
I like it.
I want Julio. That. So many vacated targets. I do still like AJ Brown more.
Yep.
Tannehill and him have a great rapport, but I feel actually really lucky to get Julio here. Fourth round, wide receiver 2.
Yeah, sometimes you got to go with the talent. Sometimes you have to go with the talent.
Right.
You weren't really seeing that many people worried about taking Hopkins, even though he had just switched teams.
Yeah.
Because you knew he could catch the ball still.
Sure.
Julio's the same way.
Same guy.
As long as he has at least marginally competent quarterback.
And Tannehill is that. Despite going to A&M, he is still a surprisingly good quarterback. Now he's got all these weapons. Like, who are you defending there?
Nope.
Derrick Henry?
Yeah.
AJ? Julio? Like, good luck.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a fun team to watch.
And like you said, with Jonnu Smith gone from that team now, there is some target room there for Julio to come grab.
Oh, yeah.
So very excited to see how that goes. That works out. And here we are at my pick. Now, the guy there that's we talked about, Amari and Robert Woods.
Yep.
Those were the two guys. RBs, I do love me some Kareem. I do love me some Kareem Hunt. But I really feel good about my team.
That said, you've got half of that duo already. Is there a scenario where you go with both of those running backs?
Chubb and Kareem?
Right, same team.
Oof.
Behind the best O-line.
I only do it out of necessity.
Right.
And I
don't think you have that.
No,
there's no need.
There's no need because I got David Montgomery, who I do think is a good enough guy.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm not reaching for that. I'm not trying to force that.
Yeah.
If I'd been in a situation where I went Keenan Allen or Scary Terry, I think I would have to then be forced to grab Kareem, who is the top RB. And then I'm looking at my draft in a very different way. I'm looking at my draft going, something went wrong. Something went wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
And so then I'm really scrambling for RB depth later because I am terrified of trying to play both of those guys.
Yeah.
Because we talked about it. Kareem's numbers at the end of the year look great.
Sure.
Very hard to guess when it would go off.
It's very volatile.
Yep. Yeah. And that makes it a little tough to put both of them in your lineup every week.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're here. Tight end wise, I mean, the big three are gone. Mark Andrews still here, TJ Hockenson, Kyle Pitts. I have Calvin Ridley, so Kyle Pitts. I'd grab him, but certainly not here.
Yeah,
I want him at a big decrease in price because I already have Ridley.
Right.
So my question is Amari or Robert Woods, and because my team is pretty locked down, I've got consistency here. Nick Chubb is going to be consistent. David Montgomery is going to be consistent. Calvin Ridley is going to have all the production in the world.
Lots of upside, yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and take Amari. I'm going to take that guy who it's not going to be fun every week, but he's also going to end up a top 15 wide receiver. He's going to find a way. He's going to have that talent. I don't think CD takes away enough production this year to make it where Amari is not the number one.
I think it's going to be more of Michael Gallup getting phased out a little bit more.
For sure. I think that's going to be the case. I also think the committee of tight ends is not going to get that much work. Like, you had some value there last year from Dalton Schultz. You thought maybe with their first tight end that got injured at the start of last season, Blake Jarwin coming back. But CD's going to take that target share more than I think he's going to take Amari's. All right. Melvin Gordon there for Timberwolf. He's doing this on purpose.
By the way, two more quarterbacks just went.
Yeah, Lamar and
then Kyler. Okay. CD. Again, it's just Kyler's the guy I would want there, but it's still too early for me for a quarterback. He would have to fall to my 5th pick.
I honestly would rather take Lamar there than Kyler.
Okay.
In the 4th because I definitely want Kyler at decrease. We've talked about this. My biggest problem with Kyler is not Kyler.
Cliff.
It's Cliff. It's the coach. And that's what worries me there. Melvin Gordon, Zach Ertz. Our producer has decided to go crazy on us to throw in a random wrench.
Yeah, that's a lot of randomness.
Yeah.
Goddard's probably going to take that job, right?
I expect it, yeah. If anything, I expect Zach Ertz to come out and retire. If not, I think injuries very likely to happen early on, and I also just think they're still going to really throw the job to Goddard.
I think so too.
So let's see. DJ Moore's gone. Travis Etienne's gone. Robert Woods. Team 3 got Christian McCaffrey and really just thought that was all they needed at running back.
I mean,
that was the
might
team.
Be all you need.
I mean, that was the team.
CMC.
Yeah, that was the team we talked about. We were like, hey, look, CMC, AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson. I was really excited to see what they did next because I thought maybe you make some clever moves there, some intelligent moves at RB, and might save that.
Yeah.
Picking Robert Woods instead of Kareem Hunt there is
just... I don't understand that. It's like you're getting... Definitely not. And now, like, the other funny thing, too, is you've got to make a tough choice every week. Like, setting that lineup is going to be kind of difficult.
For sure.
You're short on running backs. Kareem Hunt, again, was top 10 last year. Quality guy.
Yeah.
He's still going to get the receiving work. He's still going to get about 45-50% of the snaps, which is... We saw that give him top 10 production last year.
Definitely.
I don't understand the Robert Woods pick there. Like, if you wanted him before CeeDee, I would have grabbed him.
Which is how I would personally grab it.
Same. That's what I would do too.
So
then goes Gaskins, and the floor is yours, sir.
The floor is mine. I've got my starting 2 running backs. I've got my starting 2 wide receivers.
You're just switching off running back, wide out, running back, wide out.
Yep.
I think I did the same.
So running backs here: Chase Edmonds, Mike Davis, James Robinson, Raheem Mostert, Javonte Williams.
Kind of early.
Wide receiver: Kenny Golladay, Adam Thielen.
Ooh.
I've got a Thielen. I got a Thielen. Woo-hoo.
Ooh, it's karaoke night.
Deontay Johnson, Tyler Lockett. You mentioned him earlier. Brandon Ayuk. I'm really high on Brandon Ayuk because I just don't trust for the other wide receiver to stay healthy. Yeah, Deebo Samuel to stay healthy there. That's I just don't see it. He hasn't been able to. He's had injuries in college. He's had injuries in the NFL.
A year, yeah.
It's going to be interesting
spot. Are you thinking tight end at all?
I'm kind of thinking Mark Andrews here.
I'm thinking a little. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Mark Andrews there.
That's interesting, and this is why we mock.
Absolutely.
If you do go tight end, you can see how the depth decreases later on. See how you feel about it. Still kind of interesting. I mean, there's still a lot of good wide receivers left. A lot probably aren't going to be there on the turn.
No, but I like my wide receiver. I am. This is an interesting situation because I think if I was really gunning for one of those top tight ends, usually, I think I would have gone Woods over Amari.
Sure.
Because I want a little more consistency, and then I've got Mark Andrews, as my upside, really.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to go Mark Andrews. I really like this. I really like this. Yeah, I really like how that worked out for me. Let's see how that goes. Dak went right after.
Yeah.
Go for it. I'll take Amari.
Yeah, I was going to say Dak is like, again, our strategy, we like to wait for the most part unless something crazy happens where quarterback like Kyler, for me, falls to like the 5th or something.
Yeah.
Like the end of the 5th.
It's all about value.
Right.
It's all about value drafting. And that's not a value for there. And sometimes you got to go get your guy. You know, you have to enjoy your team.
Yeah.
There is too much value sometimes. You get a team that's so safe that, you're going to get a certain number of points every week, but you're not going to be fun and you're not going to have the upside. So, Gary, what are you thinking here? You've got Austin Eckler, Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Swift, Julio Jones.
In a perfect world,
yep,
you would have gotten Hawkinson for just all the targets, and Andrews would have fallen to me because I have Swift, and I do not want to go double in on Detroit because I already think that pie is going to be a lot smaller.
True.
Those are still the by far best weapons on that offense.
Definitely.
Goff likes tight ends. I don't want to be rooting for Detroit each week. I don't want to be depending on them to carry my team.
Absolutely not.
Which two of my top 5 picks would be Detroit. Kyle Pitts,
no way.
He's not there for me.
I'm saying no way to 2 picks for Detroit. I actually don't hate Kyle Pitts as the pick there.
I don't hate him. I am a little concerned with the history of rookie tight ends. The new OC, history of tight ends.
That's a fair point. We've brought up before the fact that Matt Ryan is not everyone is I say this with Calvin Ridley on my team.
I mean, Calvin Ridley is just going to be a different. Like he's got the
production there that I don't care about the touchdown upside as much. Is I've drafted him at a spot where he's there's no way he's not a top 8 wide receiver. If he's assuming he's healthy,
right.
He's going to be a top 8 on production alone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm perfectly happy with that. If I got Nick Chubb and then him in the second as the top 8, I'm pretty happy with the way that works.
Yeah.
So all right.
So this pick's actually pretty easy for me. Give me some Kenny G. The talent is there.
Okay.
You paid him.
Yep.
This is it for Daniel Jones. If you can't make it work this year, well, it's going to be really interesting come next season.
Very true. All right. Well, you didn't pick a tight end, and both are gone. It went Mike Davis, Chase Edmonds, Deontay Johnson, Hockenson, Pitts, and Lockett.
Hockenson and Pitts.
I mean, that was a lot of value there that I really liked. Mike Davis, Lockett, and Pitts.
Yeah.
Chase Edmonds also. That's 4 guys there that I really enjoy. Hockenson, like you brought up, also all the targets in the world. Just the value is the question mark there.
Exactly.
It really last year it certainly was the case where the tight end difference was if you got a touchdown. That was what made
that's
you.
Your week. Yeah, that's top 10.
And so that's my only hesitation with Hockenson. He should get enough production that doesn't matter, but should compared to he's going to have enough touchdowns.
Exactly.
Big difference.
It is very different. So here we are.
Yep.
I have 2 running backs. I have 3 wide receivers that I am very confident and comfortable with.
Yep.
Your guy's on here for wide receiver. Ayuk is there.
He is.
I have no interest in Ja'Marr Chase. While I think he will have a good season, I am not expecting him to do great things for fantasy. You've got T. Higgins, Odell, James Robinson, and my pick, Mostert.
Raheem Mostert.
I'm going running back. I feel good about the receivers. There's still some value guys that I like.
For sure.
The injury doesn't really concern me. Now, if he goes down, he's still coming off my bench.
True.
But we've seen he is a rock star when he's on the field.
Very true. Whatever RB does start for the 49ers, gets that workload. To be
valuable. Yeah,
the hot hands,
absolutely. Exactly. So I feel really comfortable with the upside there with
my
6th pick. I feel good about Swift as my RB2.
Mm-hmm.
I love Eckler. So it's feeling good so far. After that, Justin Herbert and Ja'Marr Chase.
I like it. I like it a lot. It's a good lineup. I'm in an interesting spot here. You went ahead and got Raheem Mostert, who I think you brought up great points for. The other RB that you didn't mention that I would have looked at there was Javonte Williams, rookie going into the job for Denver. He's going to have to face Melvin Gordon, who was picked up by our producer.
Yep.
But I do think because he was coming off your bench, I wouldn't have hated that as your first RB on your bench.
Yeah, and I saw him. He probably will have that job by end of year.
Yep, for sure.
Like Melvin Gordon, even his mom, I think, came out and said he looked slow. Like his mom was talking trash about him. We saw Melvin Gordon hasn't been good for a couple years since he was on the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just a touchdown machine. He had that one really good year, some injuries throughout his career. I'm with you. I think that Javonte will have that job, especially probably closer to the back half, but I think he'll have good games kind of throughout where the talent just is showcased.
Definitely. And there's news that came out this last week that makes me actually want to put this little asterisk on my team. Now, this might be bragging a little because I already like my team. But Amari Cooper right now was taken in the middle of the 4th.
Okay.
Because Hard Knocks is the Cowboys this year.
Yeah, that's right.
I would be shocked if Amari Cooper is still available in the mid-4th. That show does usually end up pumping up some guy's stock.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe it's the CD show. But here's the reason I don't think it will be on Hard Knocks.
Sure.
He's a pretty quiet guy. He's
not your classic wide receiver.
No, he hasn't been a huge spotlight guy yet. You had the hilariousness of the draft, swiping the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
But beyond that, he seemed like a pretty demure guy.
Yeah.
Pretty low-key. We'll see what happens with that. It's not like Amari's a big, crazy guy who spits a lot of stuff.
Right.
The big, obviously Jerry's going to be a big talker in that one. We're going to see what Mike McCarthy does or does not say. Micah Parsons is known to supposedly have a really big, be a big talker. Along with our round R. Along with we're here in Dallas. I'm allowed to say R.
Yeah,
I won't lie. I'm a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
Don't hate me for Amari in the fourth because of that. That Amari in the fourth is brilliant.
Amari in the fourth is fine. Like that's solid. That's a win.
But the second round pick also our safety there said he was going to be better than Richard Sherman, I believe, was who he called out.
Yeah, that's right.
So you're going to have some guys there, some rookies that talk trash, it sounds like. Obviously, Jerry will always be Jerry, so Jerry will talk and be a main portion of this show. But I expect Amari to value his value to diminish because he's going to go higher in drafts.
Oh, yeah,
he's going to be a bigger investment.
That's a good point.
Yep. So I like Moore. I've got him. I'm just not sure he'll be there come August. Right. We'll see. So Brandon Aiyuk is my pick.
Yeah.
I talked a lot about other things because I knew my pick real quick.
Yeah, I figured that's what I was thinking you were going to go with.
Oh, yeah. Javonte Williams, who would have been my next guy to look at, got taken the next pick, but I'm okay with that. I wanted that third wide receiver that I could trust, I could rely on. I'm loving it. Nick Chubb, David Montgomery, Ridley, Cooper, Aiyuk, and Mark Andrews. My starting lineup looks just
really
fantastic.
Good. It's really interesting to see Mark Andrews in there, and I really like that with the fifth pick.
Yep.
Like I told you, if he had fallen to me instead of Hawkinson or Pitts, I would have gone there. I mean, that's the number one receiving option
for sure
in Baltimore. I like that a lot.
For Mark Andrews, for sure. Yeah. Okay. Our producer, Juju Smith-Schuster, not a bad pick in the sixth. I actually like that pick. Can we golf clap for the producer?
Hey.
That was good. That was a good one. Yep. So then he went kicker to spite me. Let's see. I don't know if you guys can hear him on the mic. He is chuckling in the background because
giggles. Yeah.
Yeah. He's being crazy. So next went Rojo after the kicker. Also Russell Wilson went off the board. James Robinson.
Justin Tucker. Who picked him?
Yeah, the producer. Goddard for team 3. Then Rojo, his second RB. This team I had such high hopes for team 3, and he has really crashed and burned. He's got to pray that CeeDee Lamb or Robert Woods looks really good week 1, week 2, so he can trade for an RB. But
if you're in that type of league that actually is open to trades.
True. But as this is a mock, it's not.
Right.
Dallas Goedert, Rojo, OBJ got taken, Higgins got taken, Claypool. I don't hate Claypool there at all, by the way. That 7th round value is pretty great. Like we've talked about before. You mentioned it on our Twitter, actually, that you think that all 3 of the Steelers are going to be wide receiver 1s depending on the week.
Yeah, there's going to be so much volatility throughout. It just kind of, I think it's going to be totally matchup dependent.
For sure.
You saw, Claypool's kind of that end zone guy. Juju has the slot and he can rip off some of those runs, but he's just inconsistent. Yeah. 2 years ago, he was huge. Then he kind of fell off a little bit. And Deontay, man, just don't lead the league in drops. And Big Ben will trust you a little bit more because.
And there's the other problem there. You are trusting an older Big Ben with the robo arm.
Right.
We're going to see how that goes. Supposedly the recovery process, it should be better this year, but I'm still worried because that offensive line got a whole heck of a lot worse.
It is so bad. And while Big Ben has not been fragile in his career, the age is really started to get to him. It's a little concerning. Now you've got the guaranteed touches going to your new workhorse running back, Harris. It's interesting. There's a lot of mouths to feed in Pittsburgh. And you've already got that outstanding defense, so very wild.
So we're here in the 7th round, and it's now really all about the value.
Right.
It's more the value even. I'm looking at the value and comparing that to what I actually want on my team.
Yeah.
Because I'd love another I'd love another RB here, but I hate my choices. I hate them with a fiery passion. And I can reach for the next guy that I like.
Yeah.
And that would be Trey Sermon for San Francisco. Take my lottery pick there.
And what's funny is even though I have Mostert, I still see the value in that. Like that is a probably top 12. That's an RB1 every week, whoever's starting there.
For
behind Juszczyk.
If they start the whole season, I agree with you.
Correct. Whoever's starting, I'm plugging them into my lineup.
Yep.
I feel so confident running behind that line.
Absolutely. The other guy there is Damian Harris, but the fact of the matter is he still got no pass work last year.
No pass work. There's a lot of competition.
Yeah. James White is still there.
Just a target monster.
Absolutely. He is the ugly stepchild, and everyone looks at his age every year and cringes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But he continues to get that passing work and being a pretty valuable late-round pick. If that's the way you pick.
Right.
The problem down there is obviously you kind of want those upside shots, and James White isn't
exactly that. Right. Yeah.
So it's an interesting way to it's how you make your team. He's a great 0 RB target.
Yeah, oh totally. You really are in an interesting spot because a lot of these aren't. We're at the point in the draft where nobody you pick here for the most part is going to be in your starting lineup.
No.
You're kind of we are looking for the upside. We don't really want the safety. Because again, you're not starting these guys.
Absolutely.
I see a name that you are very high on that I'm surprised you haven't said yet.
Robbie Anderson.
That's the one.
Yep, I knew that was.
I see him. He is standing out to me right now.
He really is. Oh, I love Robbie Anderson. Oh, I love him.
I'll let
He's
you know.
So talented.
Keep in mind who is drafting with you when you guys go into your mock and then your real drafts.
Absolutely.
Because that's somebody that's very high on my radar as a value pick as well. I mean,
but that's the thing. I mentioned 2 guys, and you want them both also.
Sure.
So the one I pick, the other one's not getting back to me. I'm having to pick one of these 2 and accept that I'm losing that value there. We're here in the 7th, so we're right at the end of the RB dead zone. This is right where you can start picking some of those late guys. I am reaching a touch at RB, but I'm in the 7th round, loving my starting lineup.
Yep.
I'm gonna go. Ooh, this is hard because I do love Robbie, and there's a few different RBs here that have that upside that I like a lot.
Sure.
Courtland Sutton there, like the upside. Robbie Anderson, absolutely. Jerry Jeudy, another guy in Denver. Will Fuller, I like the upside a lot. He's gonna start suspended, obviously, but Brandon Cooks, we've talked about.
Oh, Brandon Cooks, that's right. See, there's some great
There's some
4 out of his last 5 or 6 seasons, he's been a top 20 guy.
Yep.
And he's never treated or drafted like it, which I really don't get.
Aaron Rodgers, if we knew the situation.
I was gonna say that's the only thing that kind of scares me.
That is definitely the thing that scares me off of him.
Yep.
Tom Brady's there. I don't really feel the need to reach for him because I don't have any. I'm not stacking him. And that's where I would reach for him. The reason I would reach maybe around early for, say, a Tom Brady or an Aaron Rodgers is if I had the Devontae or if I had the Chris Godwin, if I had one of those guys. I'm going to do it. I'm going to reach for my guy and get Trey Sermon.
Nice.
The value at RB late, so hard to get. I'm going to go get the guy I want there as my 3rd RB off the board.
Yeah.
Because I've got my value at wide receiver. Like we talked about, it's hard to see another wide receiver making it into my lineup, even though I love the upside of Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson late is fantastic to me.
Yeah, he's great.
But Calvin Ridley, Amari, and Brandon Ayuk, I've got my guys there. So I want my RB that I think can be a difference maker there.
Nice.
And that's Trey Sermon.
Yes, it is. And after that, Courtland Sutton and DJ Chark. So I'm on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
No tight ends are jumping out to me right now. There's a couple guys that I kind of like towards the end in later rounds. I don't feel the need to grab anybody yet.
Okay.
Quarterback.
Talk to me about that a little because Logan Thomas sits there. His ADP is 97, so I guess that's really what you're looking at. You're really expecting him to be available later.
Full disclosure, if you go back to tight ends on here too,
yep.
I don't mind Gesicki, and I actually like Tonyan as well. He emerged as the number 2 option for Aaron Rodgers.
For sure.
Assuming Rodgers is back.
Yep. That makes sense.
I don't hate that. I think I can probably wait a little bit.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, exactly.
You can say it to me because I've already got Mark Andrews.
Exactly.
Bring up who you want.
Right.
The other name I thought you were going to mention there, you didn't, was Gronk. Still being around. He was one of my favorite late tight ends.
Yeah, late round option. That's solid.
Just because the touchdown upside is what really matters there for those late end tight ends, and he's got it.
Oh, absolutely.
So here we are. What are you looking for here, buddy?
Yeah, so there's no running backs that are jumping out to me. No. I've got 3 that I'm pretty comfortable with for now.
For sure.
Harris would kind of be the only one that I'm really looking at. Fournette's kind of in that competition with Rojo. I don't love the running back options available. I'm looking for a 4th wide receiver. And really, it's down to Debo and Robbie. And I'm going Robbie.
I was about to say, pick Robbie there. That's and thank me later. But this is the real difference maker that Mark Andrews made for me. Yeah. It was the fact that I didn't have a 3rd RB. And because of that, I had to reach in the 7th to go get a guy I felt comfortable with as my 3rd RB.
Right.
And I'm still going to have to get more RB depth here than if I had gotten someone with that Mark Andrews pick. If I had gotten, the next guy who would have really made me feel comfortable was Javonte at that pick. Or, well, I say that. I'm sorry. Mike Davis was also there. So that would have been my guy.
Yeah,
well,
actually.
I say that because before I remember, I have Calvin Ridley. So Chase Edmonds and Javonte would have been my next 2. I would have been fine with either of those guys, but because they were gone since I had Mark Andrews, I had to definitely reach there for Trey Sermon. Javonte was available in my next round, but Brandon Ayuk's value to me. So that was a little bit of a stumble block there. I'll acknowledge we're live streaming this. So I'm still okay with it. This is okay. This is why you mock. But this is the difference that was made because of me grabbing Sermon there.
Yeah, exactly.
Or me grabbing Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews, yep.
So, Gary, this is your next pick. Aaron Rodgers got taken. Debo got taken. Jalen Hurts. Wow, don't draft Jalen Hurts. I can't stress that enough.
He's bailed out just from running, but
I don't care.
The passing's just not going to be there.
The passing's not going to be there, and I don't expect the
wide
rushing touch
are not going to be there.
I don't think the rushing touchdowns are going to be there. I don't expect them to be in the red zone enough for him to You're right. The rushing might bail him out, but what really makes the difference there, I feel like, is the rushing yards are great. The rushing touchdowns. I don't draft Jalen Hurts. Where he's going, don't do it. If you listen to this podcast, please don't.
Don't do it.
If he's going behind Aaron Rodgers, I want no part. David Johnson, Damian Harris went, and then Jerry Jeudy. So who are you looking for now? Like, you still have your options there at tight end, the same ones we were looking at before. Is this a spot where you're like, you know what, Noah Fant dropped so much, I got to go grab that? Or is there still someone else that's sticking out to you as a wide receiver?
It's a great question. The first thing I did was I'm looking at some of my value picks, and I'm seeing how much time I have. I'm looking at, you guessed it, Antonio Brown, who is current ADP.
I wondered if he was going to get back to me this round or not.
120.
Yep.
Okay. I feel good about my wide receivers. I have 4 solid wide receivers.
Absolutely,
that I trust.
For sure.
I don't need the position. I still always want to see what's available.
Yep.
But I feel good. I'm really happy with that. Tight ends, I am kind of thinking about Noah here. That's interesting. Again, though, there's still some kind of value guys. Gronk had, 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, like you said. I feel like I can probably wait. Do I trust Drew Lock? You've got a lot of weapons. Sutton's coming back. Jerry Jeudy in his 2nd year. A lot of mouths to feed. I don't know how great that offense is going to be. Plus, like you said, new running back. Probably going to phase Melvin Gordon out. A lot of mouths. I don't know how big that pie is going to be.
Yep.
Quarterback, lots of value still left. I'm looking running back here. I've got 3 right now, which I feel pretty good about. There's Fournette, Kenyon Drake, Zach Moss, who I will not draft. There's not, at best, you're RB2 on that team because Josh Allen is still going to do it with his legs.
Very true.
This is kind of that place where you just kind of get your guy, and for me,
it's Carter.
It's Michael Carter.
Yep.
I don't care that I'm reaching for him a little bit. He's not going to be there on the way back.
No.
I would not expect him to be there.
He wouldn't have been. I'll tell you right now.
Were you going to grab him?
I honestly was going to if he was there. I feel that comfortable with my 3 wide receivers. I'm still trying to make sure I've got enough talent there. Yep. I'm trusting a rookie running back as my 3rd who has other competition there in that backfield. So I was going to grab Michael Carter there, who while I'm not sure the talent's there, and I'm worried about the team actually producing a lot, he has that job to himself.
He's going to get the job. He's going to get the touches.
Yep. That's why I do like that pick there for you. Again, we are definitely in the go get your guy rounds.
Get your guy.
Because we locked down our
I feel
top
so
positions
good about my starting lineup.
Absolutely.
Like Kenny Golladay is my flex, and you're the number one option in New York. Like I feel good about that.
Yep.
Swift is an RB2. I feel great about that actually.
For sure.
Austin Eckler, Mostert, like I'm feeling good. So far, so good.
Definitely. And this is why, that would change if you went both quarterback, both and tight end,
exactly.
Things like that. Like we're discussing how I'm having to reach a little bit to get that RB depth that I want because I went Mark Andrews. I don't hate my team. I actually still really love my team right now.
Yeah, I still like your team too.
It's
just funny to look at it doing something you normally don't,
for sure,
or haven't historically.
Right.
So now you can digest it and see how it turns out.
Right.
That's why we do this.
Yep. And for those out there, we recommend, as most people I think do, if you do go high tight end, you certainly cannot go high quarterback.
Absolutely
if you
not.
go high quarterback, do not try to do high tight end.
You will have two gaping holes in your team.
Like,
it's going to be tough to
I'm here trying to find RB depth for my second RB bench spot. I would not want to be trying to find here either a flex starting wide receiver or another running back that I need to be the first off my bench.
Totally.
So, all right.
So we are here. Your 8th pick.
My 8th round pick. Tom Brady is sitting there, and that is interesting to me.
That is. I think we both have him really highly ranked this year.
For sure. He has a lot of upside. You took the RB that really makes the most sense to me here.
Yep.
The guys that are left are in positions where they're going to have to fight for it.
Yeah, you're kind of in that backup spot.
Yeah,
you got traded.
Secondary spots for sure. I'm really looking down this list. There's not much upside that I like.
Yep.
I'm sure I'm going to end up having to take a guy that I know I can just plug and just accept as kind of a late round RB2.
Right.
Apologize for that. But I'm not going to take him here. I've got my upside RB, and I think I really grabbed one of the last upside RBs that I like.
Yeah.
Carter was the other one that you grabbed. You could make that argument maybe a little bit for James Conner, the second running back for
Arizona.
Arizona usually ends up being the more valuable of the two.
Isn't that a pain in the ass?
I mean, it's Cliff. It's Cliff. I can't stress that enough.
Kenyon Drake last year, my goodness.
Yep. I really do think he just uses that pass-catching running back, that second of his 2 RBs, so much better than his 1-2 run him into the ground guy.
Yeah, first and second down.
But again, I'm not gonna do that. I have Trey Sermon there. I really don't want to reach with all the value that's left at wide receiver. And I can look down this list, and you mentioned one guy, Antonio Brown, who is awesome. He's great. I don't have to worry about tight end at all because I have Mark Andrews.
You don't even need to acknowledge tight end anymore. You're good. You're never leaving a draft with 2.
Nope. So the next guy I'm grabbing is Brandon Cooks.
I love it.
There is no one else there. You brought up Antonio Brown, but I was shocked you didn't bring up this guy, Brandon Cooks. I know how high you are on Antonio.
Well, we did talk about Brandon Cooks 4 years out of like 5 or 6
Absolutely.
where he was a top 20 guy.
4 out of 5.
It's crazy. Like
fantastic.
And you got him here. Like, that's an awesome value pick.
Definitely. It really. I love my wide receiver core, and that's a wide receiver core. Even 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th. Like I didn't go back to back. I didn't have to reach. I didn't really have to sacrifice my RB talent there.
Right.
I'm very happy with Nick Chubb. David Montgomery is my 1-2.
It's a nice punch.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love
and
it.
I'm like, the only kind of risk there is Deshaun. What's going to happen with him in Houston? Even then, though, the targets are just going to be there.
Yeah, that's the thing. I really like. I agree. There's no question. I think it's. I think I can say it very confidently. He's not going to start the season. Watson's not going to start the season.
Yeah.
But I don't care if it's with Brandon Cooks, because who else are you going to even try to throw the ball to?
I mean, yeah. And he's fast enough and good enough to beat a number 1 corner. Like, he's done it year over year. I think he's only 27, 26 now.
Absolutely.
Like, he's still a great pick there. I would have done the same thing.
Yep, for sure. All right.
So Will Fuller went, Curtis Samuel, Tom Brady. That sucks to see, but I get it. Our producer went with Tyler Boyd.
Yep.
Then Noah Fant.
About
Jarvis
time.
Landry. Yeah, about time. I was probably going to get him there if he somehow fell to me. So Jarvis Landry, Michael Gallup.
Interesting. Right. We talked about the upside downside conversations about Michael Gallup.
Yeah, third option there.
Well, you were expecting him to be the third because of the amount of money that was put in for CeeDee Lamb. The amount of money. I'm sorry, the amount of draft capital.
The draft capital. Yeah, he was a first round pick.
Absolutely.
Kenyon Drake after that, backup for Vegas. Waddle. Logan Thomas, and now you are on the clock, sir.
Yep. I'm perfectly happy with what went off the board. The only guy there that makes me like, shucks, was Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved if he came back around to me, but not overly concerned about that situation.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This is interesting. And by the way, Team 5 got Waller in the third and then Logan Thomas, which I do not understand.
You know, I agree. I like Logan Thomas.
I like Logan Thomas too. I don't understand going with another tight end.
No.
Even if he's top 10, it's not like he's putting up top 10 wide receiver or running back numbers. Like top 10 for tight end could be 8-9 points in a week.
Yeah, you've got a real problem here at wide receiver. You've got DK Metcalf, Claypool, and then Will Fuller, who's suspended to start the year.
You don't have a third wide receiver to start the year.
You don't. You're trusting a rookie for your flex right now, a rookie running back who has someone in front of him.
Right.
I love the upside of Javonte Williams.
By the end of the year, that's going to be great.
But week one, you're currently flexing Logan Thomas. That's what's happening. That's what's happening there.
Are you kidding
me? And this is exactly what we're talking about with the tight end early and the QB early, is you're sitting here in the 9th round and you're taking a shot here saying Logan Thomas is my flex. Well, I mean, really what's happening is that your flex is Waller and your actual tight end is Logan Thomas, but it's not a great start. And I really hate Chase Claypool as my wide receiver too.
As a wide receiver too, yeah, I don't like that at all.
No.
That's
and then again, Gaskin is my RB3, RB2. Again, this is why we talk about it. While I love Derrick Henry, I really don't like the way the rest of this team has worked itself out. And you want to talk about it. You want to know why he had to go Kenyon Drake. This is the guy I was talking about earlier with Team 3, Christian McCaffrey. Waited way too long, then grabbed Rojo and Drake.
Right.
Neither of whom I'm super happy about. I would have. Well, Fournette was gone. Okay, I was gonna say maybe try to lock down that backfield and go Rojo and Fournette out of again necessity. That's not something I'd usually recommend.
In
a drafting situation.
Want to do that,
but that's kind of what you were stuck having to do.
Desperate times.
For sure.
So what are you thinking?
Well, so I was looking at my quarterbacks here.
Yeah.
Because as you know, I love the stack.
You do like a nice stack.
I do indeed, but I think I can wait on Matt Ryan.
Sure.
Who would be my stack with Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Tannehill is my next pick off the board at quarterback.
Sure.
He's not the next to come off the board with Matt Stafford.
Oh, right.
You've got every team except for yours with a quarterback.
Yeah.
So unless someone goes really crazy grabbing a second quarterback, fortunately I don't have to worry about the producer wild card in between my next pick.
Yeah, you get your next pick before that, so you're good.
So now I'm looking at what other guys I really like to see. You might hate me.
Why?
I'm grabbing Antonio Brown.
That's okay. That's a good pick.
Yeah,
that's your guy. Like, we're both super high on Tom Brady.
For sure.
Mike Evans is probably going a little bit too high. I get it, but Tom Brady he loves Gronk and he loves AB.
Absolutely. He's had him for multiple teams now. He practices with them both outside.
They live at his place
exactly.
Randomly, that's cool. I
for sure.
That. That's a great pick.
Outstanding pick. All right. After that went James Conner, Zach Moss. Again, we're talking about those RBs that neither of us really. You're hoping for an injury from people that don't get injured. I mean, you're hoping Zach Moss takes that job from Devin Singletary.
Yeah.
But you really would have thought he would have done it last year.
Exactly. I had him as a late round pick last year. I thought that was going to be a great pick.
Yeah.
And instead it was very depressing.
For sure. James Conner in Arizona. you're going against other guys, and you also have your injury concerns with James Conner.
Yep.
He's an incredible human being story. Absolutely great human story with cancer survivor. But I'm not drafting you because
I'm not drafting you either.
So here we are. You got Michael Carter, the last RB that I really loved off the board.
Good about that. So I'm looking at tight end. I like Gesicki.
Mm-hmm.
I like Tonyan. Gronk is still there. I don't feel any pressure to grab a tight end.
No.
I feel really good about my depth. Just as a reminder, I have Eckler and Swift as my starting running backs.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be playing Diggs at 1, Julio 2, Kenny Golladay as flex. Off my bench, I have Michael Carter and Raheem Mostert, and then my 4th wide receiver is Robbie. I feel great about my depth.
For sure.
AB was probably going to be my guy there.
I believe so.
You know what? There is one quarterback that is really standing out to me, and that's Tannehill.
I don't hate that pick.
I'm stacking.
Yep.
I've got Julio.
Absolutely. I don't hate that pick at all. I actually like that pick a lot. I'm amazed because 2 of these guys just grabbed a second quarterback with Burrow and Stafford. But you know what? Go for it.
And I was probably
by all means.
I was going to lose my guy if I didn't get him. I'm
for
happy
sure.
With that. Yep. There goes Gesicki. Sucks. I lost Tonyan.
Yep.
That's okay. So at tight end, so I'm just thinking a little bit about this.
I was about to say, I think this is go get your tight end time.
There's Jonnu Smith. Irv Smith, which not too high on my radar. Higbee is kind of interesting.
Sure. Matt Ryan. Or I'm sorry, not Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford.
You got Stafford. Yeah, man, I'm getting my guy. Let me get some Gronk. I lost out on AB. I need a piece of a top 5 offense in Tampa Bay. Let me get Gronk.
I like it.
I feel happy there. I knocked out my quarterback. I knocked out my tight end. I don't need to look at them anymore. We're good. I'm looking for value now.
And then Trevor Lawrence went. I've waited on QB enough. I'm getting my guy.
Brown is gone as well, which I don't care.
I mean, this is exactly when you should grab Marquise Brown. He is a lottery ticket.
It's a lotto.
It's a lottery ticket. Wide receiver there.
The second
I agree with you.
There's in Baltimore.
Yep, the second behind my tight end.
The more I hear that, the more I'm like, I would be really happy to walk away with Andrews in the 5th. That looks great. I'm sure it feels great.
I do enjoy it a lot. I think Sammy Watkins experiment. Good luck. I think it's going to be the Mark Andrews show another year. I'm grabbing Matt Ryan. I'm getting that stack in Atlanta with him and Calvin Ridley. And I got my guy. I was 100% apparently wrong in my estimation looking at these other teams thinking they wouldn't go for a second QB. But it didn't even matter.
It didn't matter. You got your guy.
Got my guy.
Random crap happens in drafts.
For
Sometimes
sure.
you just never know.
Couldn't be.
Weird things happen.
Yeah. Couldn't be more excited for the way my team has gone. Now's a part of here's an interesting situation because I'm about to have to go away from my usual late round draft strategy here.
Right.
Even though we're coming to the end where I'd usually go lottery picks, I only have 3 RBs still.
Right.
So even though I'm not really in love with any of these guys, we actually talked about him earlier. I'm looking for James White here. We'll see if he comes to me.
Yeah.
There are other RBs. I shouldn't have said that where the producer could hear me.
Be independent, Brent.
Yes. He went with the defense.
The Seahawks defense.
He went with a weird random choice, but fine.
Oh, damn it, Mike Williams. I had my eye on him.
Mike Williams for sure.
Me.
I don't actually hate Darrell Henderson there.
I don't either.
He has, he definitely has some upside there.
Yep.
For the Rams running back situation. Pollard, Derrick Henry owner, but okay. I mean, Pollard is going to be involved. And he's had flashes of talent for sure. Now, it's an interesting situation. I want to talk to you. I want to talk this out with you. I actually want to hear what you think about this.
Let me hear it.
Do you have any interest because I have David Montgomery and going and get Tariq Cohen?
That's who I was staring at. I swear to you. That is the next most interesting player because I'm looking running back too.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he's going to be running back or wide out. I mean, I don't care about Jamal Williams. I don't care about Philip Lindsay. He's part of the 4 very seasoned vets that are in Houston. I think it's going to be a bad offense. Madison, you've got a backup there. McKissick's not bad.
No.
If you're not a Gibson believer,
yeah, J.D. McKissic there is actually a pretty decent
situation
value.
is so interesting. I can't imagine starting Cohen the same week you're starting Montgomery. You would just be securing that backfield. But
that's exactly.
I don't know how valuable the backfield becomes if they're both healthy. I mean, I say that. I don't see Montgomery would still rock and roll. You would just kind of be holding Cohen.
It would be a long-term hold, which again is not what we look for there at the end of the draft. But again, I need that RB.
You do.
It's an interesting spot.
I
actually
might go McKissic.
I'm thinking McKissic too. I'm thinking McKissic, or I'm thinking James White.
There's really not upside for you going Cohen.
No. It's really just trying to go security.
You would go security, and I don't know if
rather
Montgomery goes down. I personally don't see Cohen just 20 carries a game and 5 targets a game. I personally don't see that.
You know, with his size and with his injury history, I agree with you there.
Missed all last year, yeah.
And again, beyond that, like you said, it doesn't bring me any upside.
No upside, and this
with
is
the
where
security.
you need to get the upside.
Right
now, I mean, if you
I do want some security here, but I still want to see some upside with my security.
Yeah, of course.
And that's why I'm going J.D. McKissic.
Yeah. PPR machine.
The other guy I mentioned, like I said earlier, I was looking at James White. J.D. McKissic still being there was someone I hadn't expected.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go for it. I'm a little
surprised too.
He's going too low.
He is going very low.
I understand everyone's love for Antonio Gibson.
I love him. I love him.
Yeah, but that is too low. That is too low. In the 11th round, that's ridiculous to go the same place Pollard's going.
It's crazy.
Henderson, I also like more. You know, I would take Henderson and McKissic before Singletary, before Murray, before Hines.
Yeah.
Gus Edwards got a decent portion of that job. I don't hate the Gus Edwards
pick. I was going to say I like Gus Edwards.
A.J. Dillon.
For where you're drafting him.
For sure. A.J. Dillon's kind of the same situation.
Yeah.
You know what? I would take McKissic above Dillon. Because I think it's easier to expect the catching than it is to hope for the touchdowns, which is what you're hoping for with A.J. Dillon. That's the red zone.
Or an injury. And
right.
You don't love to do that.
No, especially not with Aaron Jones, a guy who doesn't have an injury history.
Yeah. All right, so I'm up. After McKissic was Jones and Ruggs. So what I'm looking to do here, I don't care about tight end. I feel good. I don't care about quarterback. I'm good. I'm looking at wide receivers and running backs. So Devontae Parker is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
As far as running back goes,
let's talk about Devontae Parker.
Sure.
I think he's drastically underrated this year.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago he blew up and was a rock star. Last year, I think he struggled with some injuries.
He struggled with some.
You're probably fading him for that reason.
Plus, well, that's not the only reason. You're also fading him for 2 other reasons.
Sure.
Their names being Waddle and Will
Fuller.
Will Fuller.
Yeah, you just traded for him.
Will Fuller suspended to start the year.
Right.
Gonna have to learn the offense a little bit.
Sure.
Devontae Parker is the wide receiver 1 to start the year.
Right.
And again, the wide receiver craziness that happened with wide receiver rookies last year is not going to happen again.
Yeah, no way.
It's really not. I can't say it enough.
Yeah.
I'd bet against Waddle there and grab Devontae Parker. This isn't even a question for me. Let's see, what do you have you've got 4 RBs, Eckler, Swift locked in, Mostert, Carter, great upside. This isn't a question for me. Like, I love your wide receiver depth as well with Diggs, Jones, Golladay, Robbie.
Yeah.
But Devontae Parker is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that does feel really good. Running backs, again, if we wanted to go that route, there's really not a lot there. Cohen's the most interesting, but again, that would be something that I couldn't see myself playing while Montgomery was healthy. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a pretty big drop-off as far as wide receivers go right here as well. So, Devontae,
Darrell Mooney.
More wide receivers. Wow, there they go. Jamal Williams went. Mooney, Bateman, Pittman in Indy, Nelson Aguilar, who is now in New England.
Yep.
Hunter Henry, who is, I guess, 1B tight end behind Joan or with Jonnu.
With Jonnu Smith.
You're not never really know who to start.
No.
So that's very interesting. So what I'm gonna do here
with your second to last pick here.
My second to last pick, I'm going to grab Cohen. Let's get a little bit more depth. Not too many wide receivers that I'm super interested in.
No.
I don't really see a ton of upside. I'm just going to secure the running back position a little bit more.
Makes sense. I have now Nick Chubb. I've got David Montgomery. I've got Trey Sermon. I've got J.D. McKissic. So I'm feeling much more comfortable about my RB position than I was before I got McKissic there.
Yep.
Love my Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley stack. Ridley, Amari, Ayuk.
We
Cooks,
both have a stack
Brown.
going now.
We do both have a stack going. Cooper, Ayuk, Cooks, Brown. But here's the big thing about our stacks, and I want to stress this: we didn't reach for our stacks.
No, they just sort of came naturally.
Yeah,
it's very organic.
Was absolutely. It was very organic, and while I wouldn't have reached another round, I would always want Antonio Brown more than I'd want that Matt Ryan stack.
Yeah.
And I don't think you would have reached for Tannehill. You were going to go get Michael Carter, who was really that last of the RBs.
Yeah, that's
so again.
Absolutely. I wanted to reach for Michael Carter because I saw a lot of drop off at running back there.
Absolutely.
I knew he wasn't going to come back to me.
Right. He was definitely the tier ender there.
Just so happened that Tannehill was a tier difference for me. Personally, I think he's going to be a top 10 guy. The rushing ability is actually there.
Definitely.
And you added Julio. A quality weapon.
No, Tannehill has an insane amount of upside. He is the top of my list when it comes to late end. I usually don't think of Tom Brady as late end, though he went at the end of the 8th. So those are the two guys there that stuck out by far. But Matt Ryan is the next one on that list for me also. Yeah. That is the 1, 2, 3 of those late end for me. It's Tannehill, Brady, Ryan.
Yeah.
And Matt Ryan being there for the stack at the 10th.
It's attractive.
Absolutely. So I got J.D. McKissic there. So I'm not needing. I don't feel a necessity to go for another RB. I also just love my wide receivers. I won't lie. My 5 wide receivers there are insane. I've got my tight end locked up with Mark Andrews, Matt Ryan. I'm just kind of, again, we're looking for what stands out as the lottery value.
You saw him. Yep.
Oh, man. I understand. But you realize this is my second Atlanta wide receiver.
Oh, that is your second wide receiver.
So it's an interesting situation because you saw the same guy I did, Russell Gage, but I have Calvin Ridley. Here's the thing. I could see myself playing both of them. I could see Russell Gage at flex. Depending on the week. He's the end of my bench wide receiver.
Yeah. That's interesting. I know what I would do here if I were you. I think I would actually go. I hate T.Y. I love T.Y., but not for fantasy. I don't care about Elijah Moore. I don't care about Philly wide receivers. I actually like Mecole.
Everyone's seen Mecole. Mecole, he's never done it while Tyreek Hill is there. He's never really.
50% of your targets are going to Kelsey and Tyreek.
Yeah, Sammy Watkins is gone.
Sammy's gone. DeMarcus Robinson doesn't scare me. I don't see the run game. I think another year, I'm a little more bullish.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I do see him taking a step forward compared to his rookie season.
The touchdowns will go up, and I think CEH will do better.
Yep.
But that is a pass-heavy, pass-first team. If he's available, I'll probably try to grab him at some point. I personally like Gage more. I don't feel as comfortable as you starting both Atlanta wide receivers the same week.
No. I understand where you're coming from with that.
Right. But again, these are all kind of lottery tickets. These are not going to crack the starting lineup anytime soon.
No.
So, I understand the logic.
I'm going to go with a guy I'm going to know week 1.
Okay.
And that's Malcolm Brown. We're going to see if Gaskin gets that job.
Yeah, and he was fine for last year.
He was fine. I understand if you just think he's got the job.
Yeah.
In the 12th round, I'm going to take a guy who we've seen flashes of do well. He did fine with the Rams while he was healthy.
Yeah, the Rams
when he had the job. So I'm going to see if he's going to be the guy there. I'm going to wait another round. I'm not saying that I won't look at Gage again at this next stop, but I was going to go grab that lottery ticket that I do think has the opportunity at a position that, while I feel more comfortable, I still think is more of a need for me personally on my team than wide receiver.
Totally. I forgot Sanders was in Buffalo. Emmanuel Sanders makes me even higher on Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And I'm still ultra high on Diggs. I'm still thrilled. He's still my wide receiver 3. I'm
for sure. Yeah, and I still think Cole Beasley's going to get his there. So Emmanuel Sanders, I love the story of another SMU wide receiver there in Buffalo with Cole Beasley.
Right.
But I'm not going to go out of my way to get it.
Producer did.
Le'Veon
Bell, who just insulted Andy Reid and basically said, "You're trash. You're making me worse."
He picked 2 guys that are going to retire, Le'Veon Bell and Zach Ertz. You've picked 2 guys that I don't think actually start this year.
Zach Ertz will play, but
Zach
Ertz
is not going to play.
Out. You don't think?
I mean, maybe.
I think he'll play.
If I was him, I would retire.
It's Goddard's show.
It's Goddard's time.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
After Le'Veon, who will not be playing in Kansas City, it's Elijah Moore, Evan Ingram, who is outstanding when he's on the field, which is never, Philip Lindsay, and the ball is in your court.
So the ball is in my court. I'm trying to decide between James White and Russell Gage.
Okay.
Like we said, it's a little different situation than when I was looking at Tariq Cohen, because while we could never see a situation of playing David Montgomery and Tariq Cohen, which is why he brought no upside, I do see a situation where I would play both Russell and Calvin Ridley. We saw both Julio and Calvin Ridley be valuable.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If it turns out...
And Gage doesn't have close to that talent, but the opportunity is going to be there.
And he did actually have some moments of looking really good last year.
He had at least like 2 or 3 100-plus yard games. I mean... Hell, Atlanta's defense is still going to be trash, so you're still going to get an exciting offense.
Obviously, Pitt's going to get the shot. He's going to get an opportunity, as with his draft capital put in, first round. But
there's still so many leftover targets from Julio that are not going to.
Again, you've never seen a tight end that's a rookie and higher than our tight end 6. I personally believe this will be the guy. I believe this will be the guy. But this is my last pick on my bench.
Right.
The last guy, looking at my team. I mean, my team, 1, 2, 3. I've got 5 RBs. I've got 5 wide receivers.
Nice.
I think I'm going to be able to pick up James White if I need him.
He might be there, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he's even going to be drafted in this league. And he's going to be a guy that just sits there until I need him. He's not a guy who I'm going to know week 1.
Yep.
Russell Gage versus Pitt. I think you'll be able to see who's going to be the secondary option for Matt Ryan pretty early, and that's what you care about there.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I'm looking to see if there's anyone else that stands out to me.
Pretty far down. Slayton, Lazard. No. AJ Green is there. Sammy's there. Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins is there.
Fun names, but
Jacoby Myers has been getting a lot of buzz lately as being New England's number 1 wide receiver, possibly.
Sure.
That's really the only one that stands out to me. A lot of rookies that I just don't think are going to make it. One of them might, but who knows which?
Who knows? Yeah.
Jalen Reagor.
I don't care about Reagor.
No, I don't care either. I'm not going to care. I'm not going to care. I'm going to go with Russell Gage.
Nice.
I do think that the talent difference there and the opportunity difference is pretty severe compared to everyone else available.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Okay, so again, I'm just going for depth. Running backs available. We have Kenneth Gainwell backing up Sanders, Tevin Coleman, Rashad Penny, Hubbard, Mack. James White's there, Sony Michel, and Darrell Williams for Kansas City. Nobody I'm super interested in.
The only other lottery ticket RB I saw there that does interest me is Kenneth Gainwell. He wasn't picked very early in the draft, but he was thought of as one of the best pass catching options there in the draft for a running back.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So Miles Sanders, if they decide to go committee instead of just the Miles Sanders show us another year, you know, I don't think they were very happy with his pass catching last year. Very obviously. So Kenneth Gainwell could be the pass catching option in that kind of nebulous backfield. That is what you look for in the lottery.
That's fair.
So that's a guy I want to point out there as a lottery RB late, because we haven't talked about many RB lottery late. We brought up him. We brought up Malcolm Brown. The other guys we really brought up are kind of more safety picks. James White, J.D. McKissick has some upside. We talked about Darrell Henderson also could have that job more than people expect. But there were a lot of safety guys that we picked there, so I wanted to bring him up as one of those lottery guys that does stick out to me as a guy you will know week one. It'll either be the Miles Sanders show or not. Well, give me 2 weeks because he's a rookie.
Yeah.
But I'm okay dropping him quickly if and when I need to.
Yeah, for sure. This is also probably where I would have started grabbing handcuffs for, like
for the top four,
right? Like an Evans or somebody like that for Henry.
Yeah.
For now,
Alexander Mattison for Dalvin Cook.
Exactly, who just recently went. Exactly. I'm taking Mecole here.
Okay.
You
want to give him another shot? I understand your argument for it. See if it's the number 2 wide receiver, the number 3 possible.
Right, third option.
If it's him and not an
draft
RB.
Capital guy. I mean, yards per catch are like 14. Last year it was 14. The year before, his rookie year was like 20. He only had 40 receptions, 45 receptions last year. I'm not expecting much. This is kind of a let's kind of see.
For sure.
And he's on a top 5 offense. That's really what I'm looking for. After that, it's Rager. I do not trust Philly really as a team that much, especially their wide receivers that get injured.
Yep.
I like Cole Beasley. Buffalo's a little more crowded, but that's fine. Crowder, kickers are starting to go. Butker, Young Hoku.
Yep, we're at the defense kicker section. Talk to me. Pick a kicker. I don't care who. Pick a defense. I don't care which. But then review your team for me, and let's review the rest of the draft, which I don't think usually gets done enough on podcasts because they want to always claim that their team is the best because they're the ones who drafted them. But let's go through the other teams that the computer picked,
for sure,
and say what we said, say what we think about them, where the good things they did, the bad things they did. Our producer drafted in a way that I would never recommend. But that's the way that went down.
I'm just going kicker first. I think Dallas is going to score a lot. I'm grabbing their kicker, Zerline. Hell, 2 years ago, he was putting up wide receiver 1 numbers. Greg the Leg, man. I put a ton of thought into that, obviously. I just wanted a quality kicker on a team that I think is going to score a lot. Defenses, I think, they're both pretty easy to pick up throughout the year. Washington's a great choice there.
Yeah, I just didn't see a defense that I gave a crap about. I'm sorry, a kicker that I cared about. And so I went for the second defense off the board, but really kind of the top in my heart. Washington football.
Number 1 in my heart.
Yep.
I love it.
Big problems there with the age of the Eagles offensive line. Big problems there with the Cowboys offensive line.
Yeah.
So they have a great chance of just being the sack kings.
It's a lot of turnovers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's how you make points with defense. So here I am with kicker. Let's go ahead and grab Jason Myers there. I definitely think he'll have enough points there. Also, Ryan Sukup was there for Tampa Bay, so there's, there was plenty of kickers there. It didn't matter.
I grabbed Tampa Bay's defense. I actually am thrilled with that.
Yeah, absolutely. That would have been the next defense off my board.
Yeah.
But it got taken. Whatever.
Cool.
Congrats.
I'll survive.
Yep. So let's go ahead and talk through this draft real quick.
Let's go. Let's look at Brant's team, your team, and then my team. 2, 6, 9.
Oh, we don't need to look at Brant's.
But let's just tell them what it is. Let's do a quick recap. Maybe this is what not to do. I don't know. Maybe this is a superstar team. Maybe he nailed it. I doubt it.
Yeah.
With the second pick overall, instead of going CMC, Alvin Kamara, Patrick Mahomes, Cooper Kupp, Melvin Gordon, Zach Ertz, Juju. We're going ballsy. We're getting a kicker early in the 7th. Justin Tucker, Tyler Boyd, Michael Gallup, Latavius Murray back up for Kamara.
Yep.
So you got your handcuff.
Very true.
Nice. Seattle's defense, Emmanuel Sanders in Buffalo, Le'Veon Bell. Don't know if we're going to see anything there. Sterling Shepard.
R.I.P. to fantasy value, not actual life.
Right, exactly. And, Tevin Coleman to round it out. Walk us through your team.
All right, so for my team, we've got Nick Chubb, Calvin Ridley, David Montgomery, Amari Cooper, Mark Andrews, Brandon Ayuk, Trey Sermon, Brandon Cooks, Antonio Brown, Matt Ryan, J.D. McKissick, Malcolm Brown, Russell Gage, Washington football team, Jacoby Myers, kicker. I'm really, really happy about my team. Having Mark Andrews there at tight end, I'm very excited about, especially with how locked down my wide receiver core is. I had all my receivers that I really care about that'll be on my team for most likely the whole season, depending on injury, in the first 9 rounds.
Yep.
That was incredible. Having that stock of guys. My RB depth is what paid the price for all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But Nick Chubb, David Montgomery, I've got a really great lockdown 1-2 that I'm very comfortable with.
Yeah,
Trey Sermon is my upside guy. J.D. McKissick is my depth guy that I feel like I'll be able to probably plug in if I need to on bye weeks, things like that. Malcolm Brown is a lottery ticket. Russell Gage is my other lottery ticket there that I grabbed.
I like Gage there. Late. That's such a great value pick.
It's a great value pick. Like I talked about, I could plug him if I needed to at any point.
Other than
God
Antonio
forbid
Brown, that's your best
happened.
pick. I mean, that's just a win right there.
What?
You know? No, I mean, like, obviously Ridley. That's the obvious. Like, that's the best number 2 you could have gotten. But the value, Russell Gage, right there. Like,
I mean, I would honestly say my best value picks. The fact that Matt Ryan got to me, where you saw how many of these teams ended up grabbing a second quarterback.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
That I got lucky with. I wouldn't say that was Mark Andrews there in the 5th, in the middle of 5th. I liked a lot. Brandon Cooks, Antonio Brown. No, that's about where Mark Andrews should go. I want to say he goes early. I usually say he goes early 5th.
Gotcha.
He kind of goes usually where Zach Ertz went this time. So. I would say my Brandon Cooks, Antonio Brown, that back-to-back
is your league winner right there. That's it. That won you the league.
Maybe.
Or got you
that could be it. That could be it.
So with my team, Austin Eckler, Stephon Diggs, Swift, Julio Jones, Kenny Golladay, Mostert, Robbie
Anderson,
Michael Carter on the Jets, stacked with Tannehill, Gronk at tight end, which I'm very happy. I was waiting for one of those guys to get to me. Devontae Parker, which I feel good about.
For sure.
Cohen, Mecole, Greg the Leg, and Tampa. I love my receiving core. I'm very happy with my running backs. Having Michael Carter there feels good. Cohen is.
I was about to say that's the 2 picks that stand out to me really is the upside of Robbie Anderson, because I do believe there's a world where he takes the RB wide receiver 1 job away from DJ Moore.
Totally.
And Michael Carter there, who really was the last of the RBs that have the upside and the value there that you want. I love that's where I think you got your most value is the 7th and 8th. I think I got my most value there in the 8th and the 9th.
Yep.
That's I think where you usually should feel like you got the best value.
No,
quite
totally,
frankly.
yeah.
Because before that, it
first
should
3 or 4 rounds, there's rarely any value. It's just everybody's chucking through.
You're chucking through. Your ADP usually is pretty consistently correct in those rounds, so you shouldn't go too crazy there. Like the guys you get, make sure you get guys that you do see the upside, do see the trust. There's obviously problem childs there. You don't win your league at the draft.
Correct.
But I think that's where you really stake your claim on those guys who you think are going to really rise in value.
Oh, yes.
In those 7 through 9 rounds, 7 through 10. And I think we got a lot of the guys that we're really hyped about.
Yeah.
We both got our stack at QB, which I think makes us feel very confident. The late round.
And I love, like, Tannehill continually is rising in my charts as well. So
No, he's definitely.
I love waiting on him, getting Michael Carter. I got my running backs. I felt good. 4 running backs in my first 8 picks.
Yeah.
It's just wide receiver, running back. To walk away with Gronk and Tannehill, I'm thrilled about that. It's obviously no Mark Andrews.
No.
But, you know.
I mean, you weren't going to get that.
So. Yeah, there was no way. I'm feeling really good about it.
I like your team a lot. I really do enjoy it. I'm not as big of a Golladay guy as you are this year.
Sure. As my flex, I'm
as your flex, that's pretty awesome. I just quite frankly think Robbie will end up being your flex.
He could.
But that's why you got them both.
I got them both.
I love Devontae Parker there. Tariq Cohen, it should be interesting to see what kind of percentage of touches and catches pass catching he gets now that he's back. It'll be interesting to see for sure. Mecole is your other lottery ticket guy.
See for a minute, and then just that would be somebody I drop. Cohen or Hardman would definitely be my first drops. Everybody else I'd want to hold on to a little bit longer.
For sure. Let's talk through the computer teams. Like I said, I wanted to do this.
Who stands out? Any good ones?
Team 1 didn't get enough wide receivers for me to care. He had 3 wide receivers.
T.Y.'s your third.
Yeah, that's not great. I love, Dalvin Cook, CEH, Najee, but then you can't also take ETN. You can't take James Robinson. That's so that
team
kind of
is pretty interesting. The top half of their team: CMC, AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson, CD, Robert Woods. So this is where it's a little shaky because there's no running back depth.
Yeah.
But Goddard,
I like it.
I like that. Rojo. So now you're starting to try to get some depth. You've got Tom Brady, who I like.
Mm-hmm.
Your RB2 is definitely going to be tough. Rojo is serviceable, but your depth just isn't there.
Your depth isn't there, and you didn't get the handcuff. That would have been something that made a difference for me if you went and got Chuba Hubbard.
Yep.
I'd say, okay, you're really praying for your RB2, or you're planning on trading one of your wide receivers, but because you didn't get even Chuba Hubbard there, it's kind of unfortunately someone that I was excited about that I mentioned early in the podcast.
Yeah, it was.
In this draft that really didn't turn out. Team 4.
I don't like Team 4 as I go through it. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, you've got a top 2 line. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Kittle, no. You got him 6 picks after Kelsey.
Yeah.
The gap there is going to be insane. Like you mentioned earlier, you're getting 2 weapons back, Ayuk and Debo.
Yep.
Like, it's not going to be a hyper target, 30% target share. That's not going to happen.
No.
Dobbins, all right. Kyler, I do like Kyler. Kareem there is a good pick. OBJ, T. Higgins, Curtis Samuel, rookie wide receiver for Miami, Jalen Waddle, Dylan, Henderson, Baker, Evan Ingram, another tight end there.
I really don't think Team 4 was far off from me in a draft we liked. If you had gone A.J. Brown there instead of Kittle, I think we have a totally different view on this team, because I think we have no problem with taking Kyler in the 4th. It's not what I
wouldn't do it.
Neither of us would do it, but you can go fine.
QB1.
Yeah.
So
Yep. That's fine. You've got 3 RBs there that we actually do like: Jonathan Taylor, Dobbins, Kareem.
I would have gone Najee.
I would have gone Najee
You're
as well.
higher on Dobbins than I am, but I would have gone with Najee there.
I agree, but for a computer, fine.
Yeah.
Kareem, sure. T. Higgins, I like a nice bit. I am not that worried about Jamar Chase in his first year. Jamar Chase is one of those guys that could be the next Justin Jefferson or whatever. But again, if I'm guessing there's no Justin Jefferson.
Right. I agree with that. That was like a rookie record, I think, too. He just set the world on fire. But Odell's your one here.
That's the problem. That's what I'm saying if you win A.J. Brown.
Right. Then all of a sudden I feel significantly better.
Yeah.
You're right. That was almost a great team.
Absolutely. Then I've got those 4 wide receivers in a row there where I'm getting hopefully
a running back there instead.
Well,
I don't need 4.
I don't need 4.
Wide receiver A.J. Brown up here.
That's a fair point, but at the same time, yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm guessing I'm hoping one of those turns into maybe a flex option instead of Kareem Hunt, I guess.
Sure.
Those 3 are on your bench, so I agree with you. Maybe not wait till the very end, but Darrell Henderson, we talked about, has some upside. A.J. Dillon, we don't actually hate, so I don't hate those 2 guys. I wouldn't grab. I don't care. this is kind of the do or die situation of going early tight end, early QB, or
exactly.
Because I'm not grabbing one late then as a handcuff for it, just because I put in. I'm not grabbing a handcuff for my 3rd or 4th round wide receiver or running back. I'm not going to do it just because I went heavy on the QB or tight end.
Correct.
Like the rest of my draft has to stand on its own if those guys go down.
Yeah, of course. And also, we skipped one though. We glazed over it pretty quickly. BP, how are you feeling about your team, bro?
Great.
Care to elaborate?
No.
All right, you heard him. He feels good. He's confident. Team 5, Derrick Henry.
Yep.
Metcalf.
Yep. Waller. Sure. But
Lamar,
there was the problem. We talked about
Lamar
this during the draft. You went tight end QB early. It means Derrick Henry, Myles Gaskin, Javonte Williams. You almost saved it there, kind of, but DK Metcalf, Claypool, Fuller's going to be suspended.
Yeah, you're missing the first month. Logan Thomas, again, we like Logan Thomas, but it's interesting that's your tight end and Waller's kind of your flex there.
Yeah, you're going to have as your flex one of those tight ends or your Corey Davis.
In New York.
Pollard,
Kirk Cousins, fine. Philip Lindsay, all right. Interesting team.
It's an interesting team. If Lamar Jackson is QB1 and Waller is tight end 2 behind Kelsey, and there's not much of a gap there. That team might be saved with how good Derrick Henry and Metcalf are.
Right. Your top 3 picks are. They could bail you out.
Yeah, you've got to hope that Myles Gaskin has that job.
Right.
Quite frankly. But you have problems with this team. The problems there is you really need Javonte early to show out. You need Chase Claypool to be the right guy. Will Fuller to come off suspension and immediately be a dude. That's tough. I really don't see a world where Corey Davis. I guess you really got to hope him and Zach Wilson just are the guy that have the connection. You have significant question marks at other positions that you need to fall the right way for you, which is what happens when you go tight end or QB both early. You really need some other things to fall in a way that makes it. Yeah, you have to be right to a degree that no one should expect to be right.
Absolutely. 7. Saquon, Mixon, Keenan,
Godwin.
I like it so far. Mixon's a little risky there for me, but when he plays, he's pretty solid.
Yep.
Dak at 5. Jamar Chase, that feels early to me. Sutton, coming off the injury. Smith, James Conner.
Devonta Smith. So you went 2 rookie wide receivers there.
That's ballsy.
I would have gone a RB there because that's the difference when I look at the rest of this draft.
There, yeah.
Connor, Lawrence, Jones. You've got
Smith, Alexander Madison, a handcuff for running back you don't have. Okay.
Yeah, I don't hate the team. I just think you need more of a RB.
The late round picks or the middle round picks I did not like.
No, again, that's
after Dak.
Right.
I like 2 rookies and Sutton coming off the injury on a interesting kind of rebuilding Denver team.
No.
Then you get Lawrence. I don't know. You don't have any depth outside of Mixon, really. I mean, you've got your 2 starters and then James Conner.
Yeah,
kind of
that's about it.
Team 8, Zeke, Antonio Gibson, Scary Terry, Mike Evans, Thielen. That's pretty solid. Herbert, DJ Chark, Fournette, Zach Moss, Marquise Brown, Henry Ruggs, and Irv Smith. And then Tua as your backup quarterback for some reason.
I don't hate that team. That team actually looks good to me. That
team looks good. I like while I don't love Mike Evans, you are going to hit on him enough to where
if you Thielen and Scary Terry.
Right. I mean, Mike Evans kind of becomes my flex.
Yeah.
We're still above consensus on Adam Thielen.
For sure.
I'm not nervous about him.
Nope.
And honestly, Justin Jefferson's numbers are not going to be as good as they were last year. He will be a better player, but his numbers will not be better.
I can understand that argument.
Team 10.
Yep, Team 10. We've got Jones there for Green Bay, Kelsey, Thomas, Robinson, Mike Davis, Lockett, Rodgers, Judy, Burrow. I mean, the 2 QBs is a problem.
I don't get it.
Gus Edwards, Jamal Williams, Hunter Henry. Again, 2 tight ends. Jalen Reagor. I don't hate how this. I like this one a lot.
Team, other than the errors that you picked up on already. I mean, you're winning the week with Kelsey. You've got a top 10 running back in Aaron Jones. I'm higher on Michael Thomas than you. Robinson is my 2 I feel great about. And flexing Tyler Lockett, who's never in his career dropped a red zone pass.
Yeah, I would like this team a lot. The only thing I would switch, or the obviously we called out the Hunter Henry, Joe Burrow. I would have also switched Jerry Jeudy. Harris went right before him. I would have grabbed Michael Carter there and stolen him away from you.
Yes.
That would have made the difference to me because I would like to see a little bit better depth when it comes to RB, but beyond in general.
Yeah.
Decent
not bad.
Decent draft. Like we talked about, we're getting to the point where we're looking at these teams going these last 2 are teams that started strong, we thought, and really kind of lost it there.
Right.
Actually the last 3 teams really, it's been that way. 7, 8, and 10. They lost it there in those rounds that we thought we got the most value out of.
Right.
And that's going to be the difference maker, you know. They went 2 rookie wide receivers. He went and grabbed Zach Moss.
That is somebody I will not be leaving any draft with.
And Chark has questions where we've got other guys that we think have more upside.
Absolutely.
But that's where we're seeing the issues, and that's where you should see the difference, I think.
Right. Absolutely.
Team 11.
Tyreek, Cam Akers, Miles Sanders, Josh Allen, Chase Edmonds, Kyle Pitts. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Debo.
Damian
Harris, Mike Gesicki, who I like.
Laviska Shenault, Darrell Mooney, Nelson Aguilar, Cole Beasley. I don't hate this team. I don't like this team. Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders in the third is.
I can't imagine.
He dropped really far. He dropped to 311, but I still don't want him as my RB2.
If he had fallen to me, I still would have.
He fell to you. No, he went after DeAndre Swift.
That's right. Yep. I'm still happy with that. I would have gone Jacobs before him too, but I would have grabbed Sanders before Melvin Gordon personally. But there's a drop off there.
Yeah, I would have grabbed Sanders before Jacobs. The amount of money that they paid to bring in Kenyon Drake, thank you, is the reason I'd still pick Sanders over him. But I get where your argument there for Josh Jacobs.
I actually got really lucky here.
DeAndre Swift was the end of it. Was the gap
tier for me? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. David Montgomery there was a tier end for me because I have him significantly higher than DeAndre Swift.
Nice.
So I was happy with that grab. But yeah,
very neutral team.
Chris Carson there at the 4-1. I would have grabbed Carson before both of those guys, quite frankly. Tyreek Hill, Cam Akers, Chris Carson makes me a lot happier. Josh Allen, I don't really have a problem with. It's not a style of drafting I would ever do.
Right.
But him being the second quarterback off the board 2 rounds after Patrick Mahomes, I don't hate that.
I don't hate that gap. Yeah.
No.
I mean, it's not bad.
Chase Edmonds, sure. Pitts, definitely. Samuel, I think a little too injury prone to be your wide receiver 2. Damian Harris, I don't hate. Getting Mike Gesicki, I dislike only because you also have Pitts. That's your real problem to me is you're really praying Laviska Shenault, Moody, Aguilar, Beasley. You're really needing you need a wide receiver out of that group. I mean, you might get it with Laviska Shenault. Mooney is the number 2 guy for Chicago. If Justin Fields takes that job and balls out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, Andy Dalton I think is better than Nick Foles, so maybe, but you're hoping there a little more than I'd like to hope, and the difference comes from grabbing Debo, who's a little too injury prone for me for that pick. You know, Robbie Anderson had just been taken, but Brandon Cooks was still available there.
Oh yeah, Brandon Cooks, man.
And then if you had gotten him there, and then if you had gone Antonio Brown Antonio Brown was taken before Gesicki, I'd take him before Damian Harris in your situation.
Yep.
Quite frankly.
Same.
That's the difference makers to me. I don't hate that team, but we talked about it. The wide receivers is really the problem there, which is shocking that's your problem.
I know, that's so funny.
Team 12, Devontae, Hopkins, Josh Jacobs, Chris Carson, Deontay Johnson, Hawkinson, Jalen Hurts, David Johnson, Matt Stafford, Robert Tonyan, Bateman, Pittman, Crowder. There are some of these computer teams that weren't bad that I actually decently like.
I was going to say, this is good. It just gets frustrating when you see them repeating on quarterbacks and tight ends.
Yeah.
Because overall, I don't love Hurts, but your team wide receiver, that's going to be really strong. Devontae and Hopkins. I'm not.
You just need more. Yeah, that's the thing. You need more running back depth there than you've got. If you grab those three, you've got to tell me Bateman, Pittman, Crowder. You've got to go all.
But that's a good point because I get it. You grabbed. So that's the only issue going back-to-back wide receiver and being picked 12. Your best option is Chris Carson and Josh Jacobs. Where really, that's the same pick.
I'll be honest with you. I don't hate that. I really I agree with you
because your strength is wide receiver. I don't hate that.
And Chris Carson is the guy there. Chris Carson is your RB1
right.
for a wide receiver heavy team. I don't necessarily hate. I don't want Deontay Johnson. I don't want to be questioning my third wide receiver. I don't want to question my flex. If I'm going a team that is going to be so strong at everything but RB, because that's the closest thing to a zero RB we had in this. It's not really a zero RB,
right?
Because you did grab someone in the 3 or 4, but grabbing 1-2 back-to-back wide receiver, I need to see more of a locked-in guy at the 5-12, and I think you could have gotten that. You could have gotten Lockett. If you had gotten Lockett there,
I would have felt a lot better.
I would have felt a lot better too. And then again,
I like the Hawkinson
more
pick
RB
over
depth
there.
later.
I'm okay with that.
No, I'm fine with Hawkinson.
The targets are there. We talked about it. I was interested in that, but I didn't want to go too heavy in Detroit. That's not the team to go heavy on.
No.
This is kind of interesting. The first 10 picks, running back. Tyreek fell to 11.
You're right. So looking at the top 10 guys, who would you have taken Tyreek Hill above? You went at team number 9, so it's really Aaron Jones or Tyreek Hill is basically what you put it up to.
Yeah, there's a drop off there for me
between Eckler and Jones.
If I were pick 11, I would definitely be going wide receiver.
If you're pick 11, you would go wide receiver, but you are fine with Aaron Jones being the 10.
That I had to think about that for a minute because I like both. I'm okay with either being my 1. I liked Eckler more, so I reached for him.
Mm-hmm.
CEH, I'm certainly not happy with as my wide receiver, as my running back 1, nor Mixon. We talked about this a couple of episodes ago. I'd be okay with Gibson and Akers, but that gets a lot, that's pretty tough.
Yeah.
I don't think I could go confidently with either of them over Tyreek or Devontae.
No, I agree with that. I do. I really do like Gibson, but I agree. I think I would do Tyreek over and Devontae over that.
Yeah. I might be higher on Aaron Jones than you, but I'm still getting that.
My biggest problem, really, I really would have loved the start for Team 11 if they had gone Chris Carson instead of Sanders.
Yeah.
That's the weakness there to me because I want that consistency. I want that RB2 spot locked down.
Right.
When I go Tyreek Hill early and I have Cam Akers there who has his own questions as my RB1.
Right.
So that's our draft. I think we did a great job
I feel good
breaking
about
that out.
I think our teams look solid.
Yep. We will start a poll on Twitter to see who they thought was better between you or me.
Yeah. And of course our producer.
Absolutely. Don't vote for him.
Options.
At Old FF Podcast on Twitter. This will also be posted to our YouTube page.
Yes, sir.
Along with, obviously, Spotify, SoundCloud. We will talk to you guys soon.
Have a good night.